everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and I hope you're having a lovely week, or actually by the time you listen to this it will probably be the end of the week. It'll probably be Friday. So I hope you've had a good week and I hope you've achieved everything that you set out to achieve. So the first few clips show what I'm going to be doing in this video. It's a bit of a mix, like what I normally try to do in the house. So maintaining my downstairs, which is my main focus, and getting back on track after being away for a few days. You'll see me sorting out and putting some things away in the loft room, because I'd really like to get that sorted. So then it will be maintaining the whole of downstairs, maintaining my daughter's bedroom, maintaining the loft room. And then when I've got all those areas under on maintain, I will then start working harder on some of the other rooms. Or I should also say, so it's maintaining downstairs, the stairs, the bathroom and my daughter's bedroom. And then to add to that will be the loft room. And then after I've got all them on maintain and feeling better on those, I can then start on the playroom and the spare bedroom. I might add that while I'm saying maintain, that is optimistic, because the lounge is still covered in Lego, is still covered in a few things from my bag. The little mirrored table is covered with various things. I've got piles of books that I'm in the process of selling or giving away. And I've got a big pile of all the decorating things that we brought back home from the northeast, which I did say to my husband, please can you get rid of them? Please can you put them in the shed? But to be fair, he had a lot of work to do in taking all the recycling things outside. Quite possibly 2 weeks worth of recycling items piled up, which you can't quite see on the angle that I have the video on. I think you'd all pull your hair out or start shouting at the camera if you saw. It had become the recycling mountain. The recycling mountain. And I do get a little bit, what's the word? Obstinate, stubborn, not quite sure. But I do try to dig my heels in and not do that job. And I've said to my husband, you do it weekly. It really needs to be done 3 times a week. And I could do that. I could take that on, but I just feel like then it'd be another thing that I've got responsibility for. So I did say to my husband, that really needs us taking. I mean, soon recycling mountain is going to be half the size of our kitchen. Soon, if the door pulls to, recycling mountain is going to pour onto the door and we're no longer going to be able to get into the kitchen. Anyway, he has cleared out recycling mountain, so he didn't get to put the the decorating things outside, so he's going to do that tomorrow. So I've had a mixed few days. The issue that I had ongoing at work is causing various problems. I did get a bit upset about that yesterday, but I talked to one of my colleagues and I talked to my mum about it, and they both said the same thing, that I was taking something too personally and I was adding too much kind of weight, too much strength to some words which were not really accurate or relevant. And I do find I'm the sort of person who I do like to listen to other people's views and just reflect on situations, form my own view, but get a kind of wide sphere of opinions on certain matters and then make up my own opinion. I've always done that, and then you get different views and different opinions, and then that can help form to make sure, am I making the right decision? Am I managing this in the best way that I can? So that was good. Also, I shared with you how I'd received that lovely feedback. That's so lovely what somebody's taken the time to write, and that's gone up to a higher level. So that's really nice. Obviously, I don't do the work. I don't invest the time in my learners in order to get thanks. But when people do notice when you've gone an extra mile, I always think that that's nice and is appreciated. So work has been particularly busy. And last night I had guides, which has gone well. Which went well. I talked to you before about how we had one of the helpers that comes along at guides that just wasn't doing anything, and gone are the days where things are for free anymore. Those of you that are involved in any sort of voluntary organisations, I'm sure you have the same thing, but we only charge our girls £30, £35 per term, but we have to pay £60 a year to go into Girl Guiding UK, which, I mean, I am always absolutely amazed by. And I think often parents think, oh well, we spend £30 a term, and what do we perhaps spend and do with the money? Well, if you think 2 terms worth per girl is just going off, well, no, 1 and a bit terms, isn't it? 1 3/4 terms is just going off for insurance, for girl guiding, marketing, administration, overheads, salaries. So one of the leaders, we have to pay that same amount of money for leaders as well. So one of the leaders really was not doing much. She's not that old, but we had given her quite a lot of guidance in terms of expectations, and really the risk of spending £58 for somebody to sit in the corner and not really help or do anything is too much money. We run things on such a budget, we just don't have the option for that. So it was decided that person's not going to be coming back, which I think is right for the person and right for the unit. I'm also started doing a bit more of my planning for my event later on in the year for guides, which is nice. So things are busy. What have you all been up to? What have you been doing in terms of decluttering, cleaning, sorting in your own homes? And have you started any jobs in the garden yet, or is it still too cold? So you can see at the moment in the kitchen, I was doing a bit of dinner and also tidying and sorting out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do another layer in the next couple of weeks on my main cupboard where all the plates, mugs, etc. live. I do need to find another solution for all the lunch boxes, because the reason why the lunch boxes get piled up at the side of the sink is because it's such a challenge to put them away. The other day I sorted out the cupboard with 101 tea towels. Well, now that's really easy for me to put my saucepans under there, because the space that 101 tea towels were taking up, now I can just slot my saucepans in really easily. And then the video goes on to part of the loft room. So I've got a number of boxes which I am going to keep. I know people are going to say to me, why are you keeping those? I do need to keep some of these boxes. They are for Stife teddy bears, which, for those of you that know anything about Stife as a company, they're collectible teddy bears. Stife created the very first teddy bear ever. And we are Stife members, and we visited the Stife Museum in Germany a few times, which me and my daughter love. We particularly love the slide which goes from the top of the museum all the way down to the bottom. That is great fun. I've got a video of me where I go down the slide and I didn't realise it was so steep and so fast, and so you can hear me screaming. There's also 2 of those boxes. I've also got 2 bears that before I started my decluttering journey and tidying up journey, somebody locally was advertising some Stife bears for sale at a good price, and so what did? I bought them. I bought them really as an investment. And I did think to myself, actually, this is a bit silly. I'm going to sell 1 or 2 of them. And my daughter was like, oh no, you've got to keep those. They are like really collectible. They are an investment. And what's particularly interesting about them is they are during one of the COVID years, so 2020. So that would have been a year where the museum was closed. Probably production was impacted significantly, probably not so many bears were sold. So I don't know. At the moment, I have checked they're all in good condition and I've put them in the cupboard. But I still have quite a lot of things on the floor in the loft room that need to go in a cupboard, and I don't have the space. You can see the Gerald's bag, and the box there is full of paperwork. I've got so much paperwork. And these dolls' cots. I need to think through what I'm going to do about the dolls' cot. So do you remember my story that the dolls' cot is mine? My mum gave it to me when my daughter was little, and kindly my sister gave hers to my daughter as well. So now I have 2 dolls' cots to store. I feel unable, and I don't think it's right to get rid of the one that my sister gave, but I don't want to get rid of mine. So I need to find some way of storing it. Now I thought that I could take out my Halloween pumpkin and very easily slot in the doll's cot, but unfortunately that was not possible. But we all know this is a process. I can revisit this cupboard back again in a few months, and also remember what I said to you about the Christmas cupboard. So the Christmas cupboard to the left hand side, I've got another big area which goes all the way down the side of our little bathroom, ensuite bathroom, and I can board that. If I board that out, all of the Christmas things can be moved further in and I'll have more space. So that's kind of my plan. It will mean that I'm going to have to get all the Christmas things back out again in order to get it boarded. But I just feel like Christmas stuff comes out from November and gets put away in January. And for the rest of the year, I don't really need to have any access to it at all, do I? So that's what my plan is. That'll mean that my container is bigger, because at the moment I can't get all the things in my container, i.e. that cupboard space. I'm also conscious of the fact if I'm going to take everything out of that side cupboard on the right for Easter. So that will enable me to do a bit more sorting. And I think there's a few Easter things that I could possibly get rid of, which makes me think I need to tidy up downstairs a bit more in the dining room, ready for my Easter display. Does anybody else decorate for Easter at all? I'm looking forward to that, but Easter is not really that far away, so I do need to be thinking about that. And then you'll see on the video that, you know, when I sorted out all my tea towels and tablecloths, there were the Christmas ones, which obviously Christmas needs to go with Christmas, so I brought that upstairs. There was also one other Christmas ornament that needed to go away. Now the Christmas cupboard is getting overloaded. I was so pleased with how much extra space I had here, but actually I keep on squashing things in the cupboard to such a degree that soon the snowman's not going to be able to get in. Or I might be lying in bed one night and hear this massive great noise, and it's because the door of the cupboard has clicked open. Anyway, I managed to get the things away, and as I said, hopefully I will end up with getting more space in the cupboard, which will be really, really good. A few other things that I plan to do in this room, in the loft room. So I definitely need to do more sorting. I've got a couple of boxes that I took out of the cupboard to sort through when I put all the suitcases away. So I need to do that. I need to keep on top of the area where I have all the different shampoos and so on. But I'm slowly getting through my miniatures, which is really good. Each time I get through one of my miniatures and I put it in recycling, I'm like, yay, there's another one out of the house. So that's great. Definitely need to do a lot of work on papers, on the paperwork. I'm encouraging my husband and daughter to keep the side clear. So when they bring their plate through, they need to put the plate on the right-hand side, ready to be washed up. And also, you'll see in the video my lovely amaryllis with a beautiful white flower. So I'm very pleased with how that's done. That really seems to like that kitchen window. Most things grow quite well on that kitchen window. I'm going to go through some of your comments now. So thank you for all your lovely comments. I love reading your comments. It's so kind of you. I really appreciate you taking the time to add comments. I also know that some of you just watch my videos on television and so don't have the means to add comments, which is absolutely fine. So first comment is from Pam, Mrs. Kojak, and Pam is in the USA, and she says, you are never behind, just jump back in where you left off, be blessed. And I thought I'd read that out because that's a lovely comment and also applicable to lots of other people that are watching this video. Janice Bone says Henry is a great hoover. He does the work easily. Now, a couple of people commented about the cost of Henry Hoover, and it seems that outside the United Kingdom, Henry is really expensive. I'm guessing because Henry is manufactured in quite a small factory within the United Kingdom. He's been going for absolutely, well, decades. I can remember people using Henry when I was a child. But quite clearly, there's not necessarily the ability to, or demands for Henry to be shipped all around the world. There's lots of different ones. There's Henry and there's a girl and there's a green one, James, I think, as well. So my Henry Hoover was not as expensive as what, for example, a Dyson Hoover is. But for many other people elsewhere, it seems that it's a lot more expensive than Dyson and other makes. But it's quite incredible. Really, I'm really pleased with the Hoover. Really good. Really good. Tor Foster says, I feel your pain, Emma. Thank you for sharing the reality of how hard it is to keep on top of it all with a very busy life. I really feel you've helped me because you take one step at a time and keep going. I keep having setbacks, but I remind myself if I just keep chipping away at it when I can and not to put too much pressure on myself to have unrealistic expectations. Absolutely, Tor Foster. That's the way to do it. The Lego is a lot harder than you think it's going to be. As I was doing it, I bagged the colours in individual bags, then put all the bags inside a box in between, and then in the original box I was working from when I had room. Okay, that sounds good. I've started on the Playmobil now, but I'm taking it bit by bit and boxing the sorted stuff from the non-sorted stuff in a corner. I did feel, what have I started though at the weekend, but I'll get there. That's the thing. I think I liken some of this to when I was like studying and had to write a 7,000 word essay. And actually the hardest part of it was getting started. Those first few words. And I say to my daughter, because they're now starting, introducing more with essays. And I said to her, just start. If you just start a few words, you can go back and you can delete the first few lines, but you've got started. And I think that's the biggest thing with things inside the house and outside the house and big tasks. They seem so big, they seem overwhelming, but once you get started, it's much easier. And for those of you watching this that are struggling to get started, just put a timer on your phone for 5 minutes. Just do 5 minutes in a particular area which is kind of causing you a bit more stress or a bit more feelings of uncomfort. Just do 5 minutes. And you're right about the Lego. It is much harder than what you think it's going to be. But we're going to have another Lego party this weekend. And we'll see how much more we can get done. I did feel tempted to take the Lego out to some family members that we're going to be visiting, but I'm not sure how well that would be received. I could say that they're having the Lego party at their house. Oh, it makes me laugh. And in terms of one step at a time, like I said the other day, sometimes it's 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. But the fact of it is that still equates to 1 step forward. So that means that you're constantly going forward. And some days we will have days where actually it just feels like you've had 5 steps back. But if you get up and again do 2 steps forward and 1 back, you'll soon sort out that 5 steps that have gone backwards. Thank you ever so much for your comment, Tor Foster. And where are you from? I don't remember where you're from. Tracy 4 says your kitchen doesn't look that bad at all, Emma. Oh, thank you. Rebecca Corsa Wallace says, Emma, you're doing amazing. Rebecca, how are you? And how is Richard getting on? Are you still having the sessions regularly? And are you seeing any improvements? How are things going? Rebecca says the house is always hard work when you have been away, but you will have it sorted in no time. When it comes to washing, the best thing I did was to get a new, bigger clothes area. The more space between clothes, the faster it will dry. That's very wise. Didn't think about that. I also think it's about, like what Tor just said, setting realistic expectations. I came back from the northeast with shed loads of washing and just thought I could get it all done. in one day. That was totally unrealistic. And then, of course, I felt frustrated because I'd been unwell. Not unwell, I hurt myself. So I didn't do much. So then it felt like, I've been back 2 days and I still haven't done all the washing. Okay, next comment is from Angela Wag. And Angela says, watching your other channel and really enjoying it. Thank you, Angela. Had a Henry for about 25 years. Never used bags. Wash the filter once a year in the summer. Incredible. Was gifted a Dyson, but it does not compare. When it packs up, I will be getting a new Henry. I agree with you, and all I can say for everybody else where Henrys are quite expensive, I hope the price comes down. You never know, various different deals might be done and everything might be cheaper for all of us. How about that? That'd be good. Next message is from Susan Doody. And Susan says, Emma, please give yourself some grace. You're working 2 jobs, plus you're a very involved mum. Just remember that we are all different. Not everyone has the mindset to have a home where nothing is ever out of place. I had 5 kids and felt that I was constantly firefighting, whereas some of my friends had very put together lives. Just do every day what you can do that day. That way you avoid the overwhelm. You're chipping away. That's true, I am chipping away at it and putting new habits in place. You will eventually see the fruits of your labour. Meanwhile, it's giving your subscribers some great motivation. Oh, thank you very much, Susan. I do feel like I'm chipping away, like I was saying earlier, about 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but I'm still moving forward. The big thing that I would just like, I don't expect to have I'm not going to ever have my house as a show home because I do like my stuff. I do like my bits and pieces. Sometimes I've probably got too many bits and pieces, but I have cut down a lot. But what I would just like is be able to open my front door, have somebody walk into my hall and into my lounge and not feeling like, oh my goodness, I've got to quickly put something away or clear something up. Or I just like that part, just to be able to have invite people in without feeling like things are a muddle. Lizzie says, hi Emma, this is William Hawthorne. Hi Emma, do you do your wash on short cool washers so to get it done quick as you can? I don't feel we need to run wash cycles of an hour. A quick 30 minutes with a cool wash detergent is fine. Also been a great few days to get on the wash line outdoors. I know you like hanging outdoors. I do. But do you remember I kept doing that last year? And I was so desperate to get my washing outside that I kept putting it on the line and then running back in, out, because it's like April showers time. We've had a couple of days where it's been rainy, not sunny, but the sun's come out and then it's rained again. What's next? The kitchen won't be as bad as it was with all the decluttering you've done. Yeah, thank you. Also, Emma, if I had so much washing after a holiday, I would take it down to the laundrette and dry it all. Just need folding, which I would do there, and ready to come home and put away. Yeah, a couple of people have said to me about the laundrette. I did not even think about that. That would have been very, very sensible. So next time. Carrie Rawson says, Emma, don't be so hard on yourself. You're taking accountability for your home. You can now see the wood for the trees. You will soon be back on top. I had a lovely holiday in Andorra. It's beautiful, but quite expensive. But the mountain views was amazing. Oh, wow. Where can I see such pictures, Carrie? Have you got anything on your YouTube channel? I'd like to go to Andorra. Teague80 says, Emma, do you have a laundrette near you? Sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I do a huge load there, dry it and then bring it home to put straight away. They do service washers as well. Do you know, when I was quite newly married, my washing machine went for it, and we had a laundrette quite close to where I lived, and I was going down to the laundrette, and it was like this lady, she was like, I don't know, I suppose she was about 15 years, 20 years older than me, so I would have been about 24, and oh, she was lovely. That was like she took me under her wing, and she was like, oh yes, it'll be ready this time and this date. And when I arrived to pick up the washing, because I then started going regularly because the washing machine was out for some time, she'd folded all my things up and paired the socks and all sorts. I'll never forget that. She was so lovely. Louise Tilbrook says, do you have a laundromat where you live? We don't call it a laundromat. That's interesting. Do you have a laundromat where you live? When I was working and still driving and had uniforms to wash, I took my clothes to the laundromat just to dry my clothes. Very handy in the winter. Very good idea. Teague also says, would you put bags for the charity shop, etc., straight into the car? Do you meal plan? That might help with food waste and takeaway, having to think about what's for dinner. Yes. I don't tend to put my bags straight into the car because I've only got a little car, and because I will then, if I don't see them, I then would potentially drive around with them for several months, just completely forget because I'm so busy. But I do need to make a point of maybe going to the charity shop every couple of weeks, certainly organising it for Friday, because my husband's very good. On a Friday, he does a slightly shorter day, and I say to him, oh, can you take the charity shop bags on a Friday? And so he's done that quite a few times. Meal planning, I need to go back into. I do find that I get into a really good routine, and then when we have half term or the holiday, that routine changes, and then suddenly I'm like not doing the routine and thinking, oh, what are we having for dinner today? So I need to get back into that. And Karen Howard has put, Henry costs between $500 and $700. Oh my goodness. And Angela has replied, sorry to hear it's so expensive for you. And I replied, that must be the delivery costs. Wow, that's such a shame, because I really think there's a market where Henry could kind of explode across Europe, Australia and America. Wendy Jones says, I honestly would give up on the Lego project. Seems a tad too ambitious with everything else you have to do. I put, you're probably right, but those words at the back of my head, never give up. That's what my mum taught me, never give up. And Wenda says, I know, I have the same thing, but you can instead say, how do I best spend my time? Wenda, you are very wise, but I'm also trying to save up for my daughter to teach her the lessons around money, the lessons around saving. And I know that people have said to me in the past, well, you can give her lessons about giving to charity. If you give it to charity or sell it for £50, then and you can give her lessons in other ways. Yes, I do agree. I do agree in many ways, but she does understand about giving to charity. She sees us do a lot to raise money for charity and give to charity. And I feel like these Lego sets are hers. For birthdays and Christmases, people have spent a lot of money on these sets, and I feel like we should box them up, sell them, and that money should go into her savings account for one day to be used however she needs. So whether that's to go with something, a car she wants to buy, or go towards the deposit on her house, something that she wants when she's older. I think it's so important to teach children about saving at such a young age. So that's my theory, but I do understand exactly what you're saying, given everything else that's going on. Karen Davis says, I feel your dental pain. I had to go twice in the past week. First for a temporary filling on the tooth I cracked, and again yesterday for the preparation to get a crown on that tooth. I was not numb from the Novocaine for about 4 hours, starving the whole time. I go back next month for the permanent crown. At least the worst part is over. Oh, I got lots of comments about my comments about the dentist. And I do agree with you. We are very lucky, and £75, I'm hearing from all of you, is considered cheap. But I was just meaning that I can't think of any other situation where I pay for discomfort. You don't pay. What situation do you have to pay for pain and discomfort? and somebody saying to you, are you okay, when they've got two implements in your mouth and, you know, pulling on your gums. Yes, I'm fine, thank you, which you can't actually say because they've got this trying to give you an injection at the same time. So I do hear what you're all saying. I'm sorry, Karen, you've gone through that. I hope it's sorted out soon. Next month for the permanent crown. Yeah, like you said, the worst part of it is over. Sandy says, I found your other channel and subscribed. Thank you, Sandy. Enjoy watching you inside and out. Thank you for sharing your life with us. Thank you for your lovely comment. Just Morticia says, you're doing so well. I've noticed a big change for Morticia in Wyoming. And I did reply to say, what a lovely name, but am I pronouncing it correctly? Nan Holmes says, hi Emma, looking good. It's Nan from North Carolina. Love your other channel also. Thank you very much, Nan. And then you're watching me have a little clip going into Gerald's in Norwich to pick up my shoes. Really lovely department store for when you come and visit Norwich. Definitely pop into Gerald's. You can get so much in Gerald's. And it's a really lovely shop just to look round and have a little look at. You'll see on the way back, when I walk back to my car, I stop to and take a little clip of one of the most amazing trees. And I often think about that tree, how my aunts, many, many years, would have always walked past that tree because they live in a same sort of area and you have to walk past that tree to go into the city. I love that tree. So I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you very, very much for your likes, your comments, your ongoing support and suggestions. I hope you have an amazing weekend and let me know what you're up to. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.